Hey guys, welcome to my February 2021 plan with me. Okay, so a couple notes before we start the video. One, I hate Valentine's Day, and so this is not a pink theme. It is orange and yellow and green. And I really like the way it turned out. So if you're a Valentine's Day lover, then I'm sorry, but I'm not. And two, I lost the first part of the video. I think it would have ended up being about 7 minutes long if it had made it in. But just in the editing process, I realized that it wasn't really working. So I cut that. So it starts about halfway through the cover page, but I think it still turned out really nice. And third note, this is late and I know, and I'm sorry, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. Okay, like I said in my intro, this starts about halfway through my making the cover page. And I think I also mentioned this in the intro, but my theme this month is like a citrusy thing, and I had so much fun figuring out how to incorporate the citrus and also figuring out how to make circles, because I cannot freehand basically any shape. Like, I can hardly freehand a square, let alone a circle. So you'll kind of see throughout this video that I used a bunch of different things to make my circles. But I am so insanely proud of this cover page. Like, I am absolutely in love with it. I'm sorry, my head keeps making it into the shot because I was leaning over to try to make sure that my triangles that I was kind of putting inside to make them look more like oranges and lemons and limes were even. And so you'll see me lean into the frame a lot more than I usually do. I will say that this spread kind of challenged my artistic abilities. It was very difficult, surprisingly enough, to get all of the things the way I wanted. I'm sorry, my head made it into the shot again. Wow, okay, this is a lot of my head. I'm really sorry. But I really, really like the way this cover page turned out. And yeah, so I wrote February in it. I did not do as good a job this month of keeping up with my font and keeping it consistent, but I still like it. So you can see I'm using a little jar to trace the top of that, and this other guy is a little pot. I ended up using those actually a lot, and it made basically two different shapes of circle, or not shapes of circle, sizes of circle. And it worked out pretty well for me. Also, if you can see the ink on my hand, that's because I drew on myself. So sorry, but oh well. Okay, that is a tube of lotion that I was using to measure a circle on the inside. I probably could have just bought a compass for myself and made this a whole lot easier, but I didn't. I decided that I could probably save the money and use other things. But yeah, as you can see, this was really time consuming. To give you a general idea of how long this took me, this video is sped up ×4. So this filming process was around 2 hours for me. That would be including the bit that the filming didn't work on. I do not know why that didn't work, because I filmed it in the same setup that I usually do. But I don't know, my phone didn't like that video for whatever reason, so my video editing app was being weird with it, and I had to cut it, because otherwise you would be watching the whole thing in a phone-shaped screen, and I really don't think anyone wants that. And so as you guys can see, I basically stuck with a couple of different colors. So I did all the orange peels are the same color, and all the orange insides are the same color, and all the lemon peels are the same color, and all the lemon insides are the same color. Sorry, I just touched those like 4 times. I was counting them to make sure I had the right number. The limes, I ended up doing a lot more variety on them than I planned to, because I had a bunch of different colors of green that I wanted to try out, but with the oranges and yellows, I had considerably less colors, because there's only so many shades of yellow one can own, even though it's me, and I absolutely love the color yellow. I still do not have that many yellow markers and pens just because there's not a whole lot of variety you can get with those. Sorry, you guys can kind of see me leaning into the camera to try to make sure that my circles turned out right. When I was doing it in pencil, it wasn't as big of a deal, but when I was doing them in pen, it was really difficult to make sure that all the circles ended up the same. It was definitely interesting, but I'm really, really happy with the way that this cover page turned out, and none of the other spreads took me as long as this one did, because this one was so many. It was so many, guys. I think I spent almost an hour on this spread total, and that's like half of this video is, well, it won't be half of this video because of the part that didn't make it in, but if that part had made it in, it would be like half of this video is me making this spread. It took forever, but I am so happy about the way it turned out. I really, really like it. I'm probably ridiculously proud of myself, given that it's just circles and triangles, but I really, really like it. Okay, so I apologize for my face being in the screen yet again. For my goals and events page, I sort of wanted to keep with the theme, so I decided I was going to try to make it look like glasses of lemonade. After I drew that glass and pen, I realized that you were not going to be able to see the lemon through it, so I grabbed a different sheet of paper and made the lemon on there. But I planned on doing one that was lemonade and one that was limeade, and I think this page ended up turning out really cute. I did forget to keep with, like, the font theme like I usually do. Oh, my head got in the way again. But I think it still turned out really good. And I have so much going on in February. Like, I realized while I was filling out my events page that, like, February is a super busy month for me this year. Which is mostly because of some of my classes. But anyway, these scissors are my embroidery scissors. Oh, you can't see them. But they're like my favorite scissors. I use them for basically everything. Also, if anybody here uses glue tape, I highly recommend keeping sticky notes at your desk to glue tape things over, because having a pad of sticky notes available when I'm working with glue tape has made my life so much easier. Okay, so the lemonade cup is going to be a goals one, and the other cup, which is going to be limeade pretty soon, the lime did not turn out exactly how I was hoping for it to, but I still think it ended up being pretty good. I'm sorry, you got my head in the shot again. I was having a really hard time seeing what I was doing when I recorded this video. I'm not sure why, but yeah, so this one is going to be a lime once I finish with it. And that is going to be the half of my thing that is my events. Like I said before, I really, really like the way that all of this turned out. Oh, I did remember to keep with the theme. Good. Sorry, I was checking to see how big my goals and events blocks were in January. Also, the nice thing about about February, sorry, for bullet journaling is that it starts on a Monday and it ends on a Sunday. So that means that I have all full weeks here, which is just really great. I'm so happy about it. My mom makes fun of me because it will not be correct on the calendar. It will not be a perfect month, but for me, it's a perfect month. So I drew these out, and then I realized that I added way too many. Like, I added like 8 or something, and I was like, there are not 8 days in a week. What is my problem? So I fixed it so that it was a nice 7x4, and went through and erased one line at a time, and then drew over them to make sure that I kept the placing accurate, because a lot of times I draw it fine with pencil, and then I try to go back over it in pen, and I mess it all up, and I get frustrated. So I did not want to repeat that. So I went through and did it a line at a time with my pen. I'm sorry that I keep leaning over the camera. I was trying to make sure my lines were nice and straight, and they didn't turn out perfectly straight, but it ended up pretty good. Oh, I also realized that I didn't put in the numbers on the days. Like, I didn't do that. And so I had to go back and do that during school the other day. So I'm sorry. That's probably going to annoy some people that my calendar is dayless. I ended up using a nail polish bottle to make sure that all of the spots were circles, and that's going to read month at a glance, and I alternated coloring them orange, yellow, and green. That nail polish bottle is actually what we painted my nails with, but, it was nearby, so I decided that that was going to be what I used for this. Yeah. This spread, I would say, was also pretty time-consuming, but not as time-consuming as the first one. I decided to just do them one color instead of, like, the first one I did an outside rim and then an inside that was a shade lighter, but I decided not to do that for these since they were going to be filled in with letters and it wasn't really going to matter. And, yeah, I am very much a fan of the way this turns out. I really like this spread. I think I've mentioned that in other videos, but it just gives me like a really easy spot to go check when I'm planning out my weeks and see what in the world is going on that week, which is really helpful for me, especially since the Super Bowl is happening this weekend, and I don't really watch sports, but best of luck to all of you in your Super Bowl watching adventures. I do look forward to the Super Bowl because there is usually food. And other than that, there's not much interesting about it for me, but I do admire people who can keep up with that sort of thing. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. So you can see I put in circles. It ended up being, the words month at a glance ended up being exactly 14 letters long, which means I could split it perfectly between the top and the bottom with 7 letters each, which just, I will tell you, I was so excited about that. It worked out so nicely for me. And okay, the pens that I'm using are my brush pens. I think they're called Aenart. I will check before I post this video and leave a note in the description to remind you guys what they are. But they're really nice. I haven't felt the need to buy another set. And they have fine tips at one side. Okay, so I went in and wrote month at a glance in all of these boxes in the nice cursive lettering that I did in the February's main page. Okay, so this spread was my habit tracker. I decided to mix this up because I just find, okay, first off, my habit tracker last month, it went decent, but it didn't go that great. It went pretty well up until like the 16th, and then I was like, what if I didn't do this anymore? And then I stopped doing it, basically, which I really shouldn't have done. I like to try to keep consistent, but my January habit tracker doesn't look like that. You'll see that at the end of this year when I do all my flip-throughs, that my January habit tracker is just a little bit sad, but so this month I decided to kind of mix it up. I drew those circular shapes that you guys are probably getting real bored of watching me draw, and put in 7 of them because I have 7 main habits and I keep up with approximately 1 of them a day, but it's okay. We're getting better at it. I do think that I'm making a little bit of progress towards being more motivated to keep working on my habit trackers. I just do not have time in the morning for my habits, and then at night when I'm supposed to be doing them, I am very tired and I don't want to. But I'm working on it. It's getting better very slowly, but that's something. So I went in and I just needed to see how big the calendar was going to be. So basically what I did is I drew these little rectangles that were exactly 4 by 7, and every day that I do it correctly, I'll go in and color in a square. And the hope is that it will fill the whole rectangle, but if that works out well, I will be very proud of myself, I should say. We will see what happens. Also, that pot that I am using in this video, has been sitting on my desk, and it now has like pen and pencil all over it, and I think it's really funny. Yeah, anyway, I went back and I did orange, yellow, and green, and I still did the rims like I was doing on the cover page, to make that nice little peel look. So these overlapping ones, you'll see once I start to color them in, because it's kind of hard to tell what I did with them right now. But I spent a lot of time trying to think about how I could make them overlap without not giving myself enough room. Sorry guys, I will be ducking into the camera a lot in this part, because when it's at the top of my bullet journal, I cannot see the other side of the thing I'm using as a circle tracer. And I was trying to make sure that I did it correctly. The same is true for when I'm counting boxes. I really didn't want to mess it up, because I know a messed up habit tracker can make me lose motivation for the entire month. So that was a lot of trying to be very careful. When I flip the pages, I'm going to check my habits from January so that I will remember what to write down, because I honestly don't have them all memorized. Which I maybe should if I'm trying to do them all every day, but oh well, it's okay. We're making progress. So that one, I had a really hard time with it because it was tiny. Like, it's a baby one, especially with the big chunk pulled out of the bottom. Yeah, I had a hard time fitting the words the way that I wanted them fit. But I made it work, and I think that my habit tracker page turned out really cute, because it ended up like just looking really nice and being pretty aesthetically pleasing. I will say that I wish I had made some of the ones at the top overlap, so it didn't just look like I didn't plan it well and ran out of space, which is actually what happened. But other than that, I'm really proud of the way this one turned out. You can see me getting out my pencil to try to count right there, because I was really worried about the amount of overlap in this one. I was concerned I wasn't going to have space for writing into it, but I ended up having a bit of space. And then the same is true for my the other little green one. I actually ended up having to move the thing down because there were only 7 spaces lower down in the box, or in the circle, I mean. So I put in the little calendar down there and wrote the words above it instead of below it like I had been doing. This is my expense tracker. This one really hasn't changed hardly at all. I used a metallic green Sharpie for this, which I think turned out cute, but you know, I really like the shiny look of metallic markers. They make me so excited. I flipped it just to remind myself what I was doing, because I couldn't remember. You will discover about me that I will flip back to check other months a lot. I have the memory of a goldfish. And I like to make sure stuff gets done right the first time. Okay, I did a little design in the bottom of this because, okay, last month with my expense tracker, I did not end up using the whole thing. Like, I don't even think I used halfway down the page. So I was like, I'm going to put some decorations on this month because it'll look cute. So I did that. I did that little orange guy, who I just think is adorable. I like him. And then I put, like, almost in the same orientation as Mickey Mouse ears, if that makes sense, a lime and a lemon slice on either side. You really cannot see my yellow marker on camera, which is just not what I wanted, but that's okay. And did that little guy, and then I also did the same thing with my lime one, and filled him in right there. My lime one was a little bit... Oh, no, this isn't the one where it was at a funny angle. Okay, my lime one actually turned out really cute. I'm proud of this one. I had one on an earlier thing. I think it was my goals and events, so we've already seen it. But that was at a funny angle and required me to focus on it really hard. Okay, my mind dump. You guys probably barely remember this from last month. My January one was super heavily decorated because I had a million snowflakes and I just wanted to stick them on everything, which was so fun. However, that's not what I did this month. I wrote out the words mind dump in my little, those nice little circles. You guys get to watch me trace this jar a lot of times. I made a lot of circles this month. I swear I can like draw citrus in my sleep now. I went through and did all of that, and then you'll see in a minute, but when I lettered out the words mind dump, I tried to make it look like the triangle webbing sort of stuff that I have on my cover page. Like the little black triangles, you know those? Yeah, I don't know what they're called. But I tried to make the letters in mind dump sort of look like that. I think it turned out pretty nice. You can see me messing around with it here because I was trying to figure out how to do it. But I tried to just use a lot of cool angles when I was making these, and for the M and the N, you'll see that I kind of just let them, I kind of spread them out in the whole circle, if that makes sense, which it probably didn't because I didn't explain that very well. I'm not very good at explaining things, but I think you will see it in a minute. I am very fond of the way that that turned out. My mind dump is super duper useful. I highly recommend this as a spread to anyone who's starting bullet journaling. Or if you've been doing bullet journaling for a long time and you're like, I always feel like there's something missing from my journal. This is like the spread that I might use the most often, to be honest, because there is so much randomness that needs a place to go. I usually do about 2 pages for this, depending on how many spreads I have that month. But you can do more or less if it suits you, obviously. The U in here did not turn out that great, but I think all the other letters did. Okay, and now we are to my week. Oh yay, I'm counting dots. Okay. So I decided to try some horizontal layouts this month. And I'm thinking that maybe next week when I'm setting up, I will switch and put in circles to be my little citrus guys. And I just alternated between yellow, green, and orange. And did that thing where you write the day into the line. The camera is too zoomed out for you to actually read my handwriting, but it's really cute. You're just gonna have to trust me on that one. I'm very fond of the way that this turned out. I've tried a bunch of different weekly spreads. I've kind of messed around with ones that worked best for me, and I think this is one of my favorites that I've done. Wow, my head is really making a special appearance. Okay, I'll hand you back to the outro. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I had so much fun making it, and I discovered that me being proud of my journal really contributes to my mood, and I had so much fun making this video. I am having so much fun using the spreads. They're so beautiful. I'm so happy with the way they turned out. And I will hopefully see you all soon. Thanks to my sister, again, for helping me do all of the clothing things. Bye. I'll see you next time.